what we are going to talk today. These works I call monoprints, but I think that to understand monoprints, I would first talk a little about printmaking and why I call them monoprints. I'll talk a little about myself and specifically about these works and the donors' stories. So I would like first to know how familiar are you with printmaking or monoprints? You're familiar? You're familiar? Okay, yeah? No, okay. So I think that there are many different definitions of printmaking, but for me, what makes printmaking different from other techniques is that it's not direct. If you're drawing or painting, you have your surface, it can be canvas, paper, and you do your design directly on the surface. Printmaking, you need something that we call matrix, and the matrix can be wood, what else? Linoleum, a lot of different metal, different kinds of surface. And first you have different techniques and you create this design in this matrix, and then you transfer to the paper or any other surface. Let me give you in this case, this is the print. So I created first the design here. I know that it's small. Later, you can come and see. So I first carved here, and later, you have to put the ink, and then you apply pressure, and you transfer the image here. And because of this process, you can create many prints. Depending on the technique, you can have even hundreds, of them. But there is another thing that is the monoprint, or monotype. Oh, I brought another example here too. This is from, because that one I can pull the print by hand. I don't need a press. This technique here, the matrix is metal, and so I need a press, like a real machine, to have enough pressure, because in this case, that one is called the relief. So the ink that is on top will transfer. In this case, the ink that is inside the carving area needs to be pulled. So you need a lot of pressure so that the paper really enters this carving area and pull the ink. Okay. But then there is what we call monoprint or monotype. Like this one here. Mono, probably means one. So it's a unique print. In this case, I had first the sketch, but then I draw, then I use a press, and I created this one too. But in some cases, you can use, it's still unique, but you can do at least 2 or 3, or you can change a little, for example, with these clothes. Sometimes one print is a little more wet than the other, and I can create 2 or 3 that you can still recognize and say, oh, that's a shirt, But if you see individually, they are unique. So these are monoprints. These ones are monotypes. When you say monotype, it's totally different. There's no way I can create another one. It's really, really one of a kind. And my background is in printmaking. So before I started this project here with fabric, I like these ones here. They are from 96. Fortunately, I just signed Ely, because I have prints that are signed Ely, which was my maiden name. And now it's Ely Urbanski. But at some point, I don't know why, by intuition, I decided just to sign Eddie, which was good. So let me then talk a little about my path. Yeah, I was born in São Paulo. Yeah, I was talking to Diana. Yeah. I was born in São Paulo. Yeah, grew up there, and I went to art school there. And actually, the title was it was a degree, a teaching degree in art education. But I think that for me the main interest was printmaking, and it was almost like a printmaking bachelor, but you had to do some education and yeah. But there I developed works on wood, on metal, yeah, intaglio, wood cut, and I was doing just what we call like the traditional printmaking. But then, you know, a lot of things happen. It's hard to live only with your art. So at time I worked with a museum, being a tour guide, yeah. But then, little by little, I went to the language area. Yeah, I became first an ESL teacher, but then I started teaching Portuguese, Japanese when I went to Japan. Yeah, and actually, this project here started in 2008, actually, because I went to Japan. And I, like in São Paulo, even if I was working with language, I knew people, yeah, my old college friends. I know where to go to print, yeah. But when I moved to Japan, I didn't know anyone in the art area, yeah. I didn't know where I could have access to a press. So, but I didn't want to abandon totally my art practice. So what I did is that I started with a very simple thing that is doing, you know, the outlines, when you have your hand or, yeah. But I was asking my friends, they would choose a pose, then I would outline and do, and paint the areas that touched the paper, yeah. I started doing that. And it was fun because you had this interaction with people, yeah. But I always need a model, yeah. And then I say, well, instead of using people, I'm gonna start using clothes, yeah. And that's how but my background was printmaking. So I kind of invented this way of printing that I would soak. I think that I will show you it's better. Some people already saw this. That's the technique, yeah. Of course, here is kind of a little fast, and sometimes there are some variations, but basically this is how I start making these prints. And that one is, I was using sumi, yeah, the Chinese or Japanese ink. Then for the colored ones, I started using chlorine bleach, yeah. But I know that it's very toxic. I was never happy, yeah, having to use, but I didn't know what I could use to substitute that. Yeah, and then everything that I found somewhere, or that people would say, like, oh, try vinegar, try lemon with vinegar, try baking soda, all these variations I tried. And sometimes I had like a little result, but you could hardly see that there was an image there. Yeah, I couldn't really show that, because I would know, but a person here wouldn't notice the image.
What about hydrogen peroxide?
Oh, I tried that one.
Yeah.
I tried the one that we buy at the drugstore. I also bought the one that is 30% or something, that is food grade. Yeah, that is, you have to wear gloves. But I didn't have a good results. But then, kind of, yeah, by accident, I was reading a book about natural dyes, yeah, because I have this general interest in fabric. I would say, well, I do fabric, so yeah. And then in one part, the person was saying almost as a warning, yeah, like, oh, be careful, because if you spill lemon in your fabric, yeah, it will stain, yeah, and say, oh, yeah, or bleed. And say, oh, interesting. And then I start using, but there is one thing. It's not all dyed fabric, but you have to dye with something high in tannins. So I was, trying to find what was high in tannins. Then I learned how to dye, yeah. Luckily, I live in a snow camp, so I have a big backyard, a lot of raw materials, yeah. And then I start dyeing the fabric. And then I could use lemon. Yeah, these ones, I started to use lemon. But when I started using lemon, I couldn't use the same way that I do here. First I soak, and then you couldn't see any image. It just, like a big blob, or and then now I'm, I have to find a way. Sometimes I use brush, or so that it doesn't, but sometimes it's too dry, or you have to find that balance, because if it's too wet, then you don't see any details. Yeah, but if it's too dry, you I know what I printed, but probably no one will recognize anything. I think that this one is kind of on the edge, but I think that I'm going in this one. I'm going closer to painting than than printmaking. But anyways, so this is how I'm making this these works. That one, actually, our mutual friend gave me some pokeberries, and I did that one. But that one is not, I still have to research more, because it's kind of fading. Yeah, it used to be a little more pinkish, and now it's, so this is another challenge, that you have to find things that are color fast and light fast, yeah. Especially because I show, but I also sell, so I cannot sell something unless it's like this is just kind of a temporary artwork. For 2 years, like surprise. I will give a 2-year warranty. After that, it's expired. So. But then what happened while I was doing the natural dyes, I also realized that I didn't want to use the toxic bleach for health, because I'm very kind of health concerned, in many different, with what I eat or what, but also with the environment. I thought, wow, because to dye one little piece of fabric, use so much water. And then I started watching these documentaries talking about the industry, the clothes industry is the second more polluted industry Because imagine if they use a lot of chemicals and not all these factories dispose in a good way. Sometimes they just put in the river or the ocean. So then I think that in this process I got more conscious about what we do as an artist, and I start to become more careful when I buy materials. I try to buy materials that are AP. There is this this label that is the CMRI. It's a organization that kind of tests materials, and the AP is less toxic. They say non-toxic, but I don't know if something is really non-toxic. Anyway, this is something that happened during this process. And another layer of this work is the part of the donors. Because in the beginning, I just started with my clothes. And then I started asking people would donate, but I didn't have the videos. What happened is that after I printed it and I started seeing the results, I could kind of feel that there is some memory, some kind of stories in these clothes, especially because people would donate me old clothes. Nobody would buy a piece and then give it. But and I always call this they always give me the treasure. It's the trash and the treasure at the same time. Because many of these pieces, they have like the person that donated. Actually, Browning is one person that donated one piece for me. And all these pieces, they have stories. And many of them, like that one that is a dog sweater. Didn't even know the word dog sweater. But the person said that she had a dog, and she passed away I think that about 2 years before she donated. But she kept it the sweater, because she didn't know what to do. She didn't just want to put in the trash, or donate to a PTA store, And then when she heard about, and it's a person that I don't know, she just heard about the exhibition, and because in some exhibition I collect clothes, and then she brought and she recorded the video, one of this video. We can, I think, that see one.
Hello, my name is Tiffany. I live in Raleigh, and I'm here to donate some items that have a lot of sentimental value and have been with me for a long time. The first item is a dog sweater. You can still see the dog hair up here. My dog passed away probably about 3 years ago, and I just still held on to a bag of her stuff. She was a rescue dog, so she was very old.